Yo, this is Dyson Knight, and this is episode 39 of the Sup'm Show. And today we are talking prophetess or profit-ist. Yes, has God put a price tag on miracles or even salvation for that matter? There was this wonderful video going around with a prophetess. Um, I guess creating some miracles. What do you say, Juan?
Yeah, man. Elaborate on that. What type of miracles you talking about, man?
The lady had a rotting vagina,
Yes, she did.
and the prophetess was in church, um, speaking on it boldly.
Yep.
I said rotting vagina just now, and my mom is in the room, and she looked at me, and I'm
I
like,
get that.
that's literally what the prophetess said.
That's what she said. Rotten vagina.
That no, that's what they
Mm.
said. That's what the prophetess
Hey,
say. I
hey,
get
check
in
this
trouble
out,
for
right?
saying rotting vagina, but the prophetess in church can say rotting
Check this out.
vagina.
So when we ended our last show last week, right? And I touched on what's coming this week. We're here now. My mom is here also, and she heard, and she was like, "What?
That's
Same
what's
thing,
going
bro."
on in the world. That
Yeah,
is
man.
literally what's going on in the world. And I wonder, like, people are, if it's on purpose, because a lot of times, people say things just to get attention, and they use
Mm,
these wording to create this shock effect,
value.
just like what
Yeah,
happened just now. When I said it, I didn't even think of it. I was just reciting exactly what the prophetess said
and that's
and what she
word.
was
That's verbatim, bro.
verbatim, what she was
Yep.
saying. She was trying to heal inside the church, and you and I thought, well, you first, you saw it, you said it to me. I was like, wow, all right, this
Yeah.
is what we doing. Um,
What are you doing now?
cool. And I understand, what's happening in the world, like a lot of weird things, global warming, wars, um, um, all sorts of things. People are identifying as whatever, whenever, however. And we, it's 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 if it wasn't so serious, it would be laughable. And I promise, like, I'm just gonna state the facts.
Yeah.
And internally, I think it's funny. But externally, I have to wonder because these type movements or these type beliefs have heavy following, bro.
Hmm.
There's a
Well,
heavy following behind these things.
and trust me, bro, seeing that I'm the one that edged on this particular topic,
Uh-huh.
the whole entire week, I was thinking on ways how to approach this without
Right.
offending super sensitive people out there.
Speaking about
Okay.
super sensitive people that are out there, hold on one second. You
Yeah,
do
man.
have myself. I'm Dyson Knight. This is Juan Nodes of Nodes Wood Flooring, and we have Dr. Kent Bazar joining us right now. What's up, Kent?
Yeah, you can tell by that shady brand, he's super sensitive.
Super sensitive, man. Super sensitive.
Super bionic sensitive.
So let's dig into this one because this could be hard. You were saying, Juan, what you saying?
Yeah, I was saying that seeing that I'm the one that touched on this briefly on our last show last week,
Hmm.
on our outro actually, and I was bringing a little preview of what to come. The whole entire week, bro. Like I gotta say, what episode we in right now?
39.
Okay, out of all the episodes, I gotta say this one right here is.
Hmm.
I've really been looking forward to this one right here because there's so many layers to peel back off of this topic in so many different ways, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's so many different angles you can come at this with. And the thing what I want the audience members to keep in mind, keep your emotions in check. All right.
For
Which and
sure.
I know when you talk about politics and religion and all this other stuff, people get all out of they self
Y-
and go
Yeah, it
crazy.
gets
All right.
exciting.
This is everybody has their personal opinion. All right. Ain't nothing personal. But we're here to try to approach this from a common sense state of things
Right.
and a logical way of things. And we have Dr. Kent Bazard, who could probably give insight from a medical standpoint. You have myself, that's very, very skeptical, and you really can't pull the wool over my eyes too easy. And then you have Dyson Knight over there, who's pretty much love to play devil's advocate, but we pretty much know where he stands.
And
So
I
with that being
understand
said, let's get it in.
entertainment. Oh
Yes,
yeah, I understand entertainment, and we all do actually. So I know what's behind a lot of these theatrics.
there you go.
And people don't realize that everything is a business. So where
So
are we going to start? Where are we going to start? With the topic is prophetess, meaning a prophetess that I guess in this case she's coming to someone that speaks prophecy that can tell your future and predict things or predict the destination or path of your life journey, as well as if there's any ailments that you may be experiencing. She would be expected to have the power, the relationship, the close enough relationship with God to be able to have Him work through her to heal you or heal that. So that's where we're at. And
I don't want to take the reins first. Let that late boy, you come and let him get it first.
Well, this has been on my mind all week too, because
Yes.
touchy one for me, really, 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 really touchy one for me as well. It's been on my mind as well. I've been thinking about how to approach it. What am I going to say about it? What are my true feelings about it? You know, because
what are your true feelings about it?
We all about true feelings here. We all about true
Yeah.
feelings.
Yeah.
But I think we should probably start with, because just for the people who are watching, we get most of our topics either from our conversation or we get them from something that's happening or something that we all saw and we shared and talked about. And this particular video that we were talking about that we saw, it was quite what's the
You
word?
stammering, man. You stammering. Come out with it.
You want me to grab it?
Come out with it, man.
Well, okay, so it was a little bit out there, right? I mean, now let me start by saying I grew up in the church. You see this? I've been wearing this. I mean, this doesn't mean I go into heaven. This doesn't mean I go into heaven, right?
Right.
But you know, I was
Right.
raised in a Christian house. I gave my life to Christ at a young age, and I've done my very best to be the best version of Christianity that I believe in to be. Right.
Good.
Yes, I believe in things that can't be explained.
Yep.
I believe that magic is just science that can't be explained. At the same time, though, there's a lot of BS out there, which we all know. But again, just to finish the introduction. So in this video, this particular very popular minister, is it a minister?
Y'all go ahead. I'm gonna see if I can pull the video up on laptop. Go ahead.
Yeah, minister, prophet, etc. She was healing a person and the person said that they had a
Rotten vagina.
rotten vagina.
Yes.
So I'm not quite sure what she meant by that.
She mean a rotten vagina. How much more clear could that be? A rotten vagina.
It could be a lot of things. It could be
No,
Yes.
rotten
Yeah, well,
vagina.
the doctor's talking one. Let's hear from the doctor what it could possibly be. Go ahead, Ken.
You know, I just antagonized him. That's all it is. You know.
Okay, so it could be anything from not saying that this is mild, but it could be anything as simple as a yeast infection.
Okay.
To something as, say, dangerous as what they call flesh-eating bacteria. It's not really flesh-eating bacteria. It's not really flesh-eating bacteria. But when the cutaneous tissue gets infected, it causes a really bad infection in the groin area. It's very rare. I only saw one case in my life. It's extremely rare. So it could have been any of those. Now, it's unlikely that woman would be standing around comfortable in church And she's wearing a pants at the time, if I'm not mistaken. Was she wearing a pants? I think she's wearing a pants. She wouldn't be wearing a pants if she had that. So let's put that out the window. So maybe she had an STD, whatever. Or maybe she just had what's called a bacterial vaginosis. Maybe it just didn't smell um, right. You understand? So the point is we don't know. So all I'm saying is each of these things, and I hate to get so specific, but each of these things are very manageable, right?
So it's curable. If not curable, it's manageable. Meaning you can offer some relief, some comfort.
Cure is a strong word. So let's say curable then. Let's say curable. But cure is a strong word. If you have a yeast
Okay,
infection, you can treat it and get rid of it. If you have a
right.
bacterial vaginosis, can also be treated and eliminated. You understand what I mean? That doesn't mean it won't happen again. But the point is, we don't know. We don't know what the context is that this person had. They just said rotten vagina, so that's very unclear. So,
That's very clear, but go ahead.
so
Actually, that's not, anyway.
to me, it's unclear.
Stop it, Dyson Knight.
It's
To me, that's
rot.
unclear. That's a broad description. If somebody come to me and say,
Okay.
"Doc,
Uh,
I have a rotten vagina," I don't know what you mean. You got to be specific.
okay, and then there has to be some tests done. Let me ask this, because this is one of my positions on the whole topic. If a doctor is treating the ailment, how much do you think it would cost? And this is whether she's going to the public health clinic or going to doctor's hospital per se. She has to go to a doctor to cure any one of these ailments. Ballpark figure, generalization. How much does it cost?
Uh, well, let's just say let's talk about the gynae issues. Let's say there's an infection down there, whatever infection, yeast, bacteria, whatever. Maybe 2 visits to the doctor plus medication.
STD.
If
So
it's an
under
STD,
500.
if it's an STD, it could be ongoing. If she's in the private sector, if she doesn't have insurance, she could probably possibly pay about $500, $600. If she has
So
insurance, maybe less.
so it's expensive, and it's cheaper to go. It's cheaper to have it done by a miracle worker or prophetess per se. Whereas I know that I've
With
seen
people,
holy water on sale. Yeah, holy water on sale. I think it's be like $5 a pop. If you throw
We
some
gonna
holy water on it, it's supposed to
don't
work.
take my talking points, sir. Go ahead.
I mean, okay, but I'm saying, so let's move from the rotting issue. Let's move from the health issue and go
Yeah.
on to whether a miracle worker is, and for me, it's like who you said it. Which one of y'all said it? You said it, Ken. You said it's science that we don't understand, right?
magic is.
Miracles per se, magic. Right. So if we are going to a a miracle worker, and this is one of the things too. Maybe I should go on my own talking points that I don't want to steal any of once. If you have a prophetess or a miracle worker, couldn't that same person be described as a voodoo or witch doctor?
Absolutely,
Pretty much.
Right? It's the same type thing, right?
absolutely.
So how
That's yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, your point.
no. How does one decipher between the two? If miracles, and this is a key point from the Bible, we know that when Jesus was going through his fast, 40 days and 40 nights, he was being tempted by the devil. The Bible speaks to that, and the Bible was saying he is in the desert now, and the devil offers him food. He would have had to pull the food out of the sky, right?
Mhm.
Which means that the devil is capable, very well capable of performing miracles.
Well, there's the thing, Dyson. I mean, the Bible is there are a few examples of the Bible in the Bible. Sorry, of people doing supernatural things or unexplainable things that weren't of God. So, for example, look at the when Moses went to Pharaoh, and Moses threw down his staff, and it turned. They threw down their staffs, and the other his Pharaoh's magicians threw down their staffs, and they turned into
Yep.
snakes. And Moses threw down his staff, and it turned into snakes, and they had a big snake battle there, right? So I mean,
Right.
so the point is, um, I don't think, and even if you read Revelation, which is we're not going to get into that, but there's a lot of mention there about the false prophets who will be performing miracles. The Bible says this: false prophets will be performing miracles. That's what it says.
Right.
So I mean, so just because a person is performing a miracle doesn't, what we call a miracle doesn't necessarily mean that this person is of God per se. And I think that's what when you say how do you determine the difference? The difference is perspective. It's all
Mm.
about telling the story. So if we see a guy with feathers in his head and a loincloth and he's doing quote unquote magic, we're gonna say
Right.
that's voodoo. If you see a guy in a suit and a tie who pulls up in a limousine and he heals the sick, that's a
Right.
miracle. You see? So
Hmm.
so the difference is the clothes he's wearing, I guess.
All right.
Hmm.
Let me touch on this right quick. So whilst you all two was discussing that topic right there, right? I found the anointed the anointed drinking water page right here. All right. So and it says as follows. Right. You can get a 6 pack for $30. All right. Or you can get a whole case for $120. Now,
A 6 pack of holy water.
no, hold on. Hold on. It's not holy. It says NGDI drinking water.
Spell that.
Okay.
ENG.
ENGEDI.
Okay.
NGDI.
Uh-huh.
However, that's what it's saying. Anyway.
Holy water?
So, no, it's not no holy water. This is drinking water.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is a 6 pack. This is a 6 pack of drinking water, $30.
Uh-huh.
Now,
$30.
yes, or you can get it now, or you can get a case, and the case pretty much has maybe 12 to 16, 24 maybe, for $120. Now, as you scroll down this page, and it's clearly up for sale, the description of this water says, and I quote, "This water has been prayed over and blessed by the apostle Edison and the prophetess Mary for the glory of God. As you drink it, we pray that your needs will be met in Jesus' name. Whether you need a miracle, healing, or deliverance, connect your faith and let this water point you, and let this water be your contact for your supernatural breakthrough." How to use? Hold on now. There's
Oh,
directions
it
here.
come with a manual. Okay, I
Yeah,
starting to
yeah.
understand
How
the
to
price. Go
use?
ahead. Hmm.
Lift your premium water to the Lord. High.
Okay.
Decide what miracle you need. Declare the scripture, John 4 and 14. Now, it
So
is
the
to my
question,
understanding. Go
mhm.
ahead.
The
Oh,
question for me
so
is, okay, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay, all right, I can go.
Okay.
I can go. All right, all right, all right. Here we go.
Okay.
I don't know the scripture. Read the scripture for
So
me. They have it there?
I haven't got the scripture. One of y'all perhaps can look it up. It's John 4 and 14. So to my understanding, this little thing here is making money hand over fist
And the business side, and here,
on
and
the business
here,
side of things.
and here
Now,
goes.
my whole thing is this, right? So,
Let me read this real
Please
quick.
go ahead.
go ahead.
But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I give him shall be in him a well of water springing up in everlasting life.
So basically, they pick a verse out of the
That is
Bible
what in it.
pertaining to drinking water in order to help promote the product.
The question of the
Great
day
marketing.
is prophetess or prophetess, meaning is this person or are these people for real or are they for false? Is
Well,
this real
in this
miracle
case
work
right here,
by
in this
God?
case right here, this is prophetess.
This is the power. This is the parable. See, this is why I don't like stuff like that. People take one verse and they just do what they want with it. This is the parable of Jesus speaking to the woman at the well. That's what this is.
Yeah, I know.
You
I
understand,
know.
what I'm saying? He's talking to
I
her
laughing at
directly.
Ruckus. Go ahead.
He's
I know.
ministering.
Go ahead, Cat. Oh, I guess he frees up.
Sorry about that. Am I
He's,
back?
yeah, you
Yeah,
back. You back.
you back.
Yeah, he's ministering to her, and that there's a whole lesson behind his that story.
Hold on now.
But
It,
anyway,
it gets a little deeper now. Okay, now if you were to go to the anointed prayers tab on this website, there's also an anointed prayer altar for sale. Let me go ahead and click on that. So this altar is going for sale for $250. And the description to this says, kneel before the prophetess prayer altar. Keep the prayers watches, include the noon and the midnight watches. Declare these scriptures, Jesus Christ's name. But wait, there's more. Sound like an infomercial right now. But wait, there's more. Okay, if you buy two right now, no, hold on. So there's also anointed pillows for $35. If you click on the description of the pillow, I'm sorry, $55. And it says the anointed prayer pillow is used as a prayer tool during times of intense travail on the altar in the presence of God. You know what? I'm gonna come out and say it like this, right?
You ready to say it?
No, I ain't ready to say it yet. I'm gonna hold it in, but I'm gonna say a little something right here. Behemoths. We all behemoths yet, all three of us here. Y'all ain't tired of being played for the last man. Y'all ain't tired. Hold on,
What?
Dyson. Hold on, Dyson. Hold on. Y'all ain't tired, man. You got people, right, from the US that'll come home, take you all for all y'all got. All right? Someone will do research on them, find out they take you all for all they got. And then someone else will pop up and y'all rinse and repeat the same process.
Rinse and repeat.
Like I listen, I don't get what listen, there's four things. There's maybe more than four, right? But what comes to my mind, right? Either you just don't know no better. You're searching for a savior to save you, right? You, you're gullible and you just don't possess common sense.
I think it's number two,
Because
bro.
my whole thing is this, right? Now, just like Dr. Kent Bazard, I came up in the church. I came up in the church. Now, my whole thing is this, right? When NASCAR was at the height of COVID-19 and lives was being lost left, right, and center, where was these people? Why don't nobody don't think about that? Where was these people laying hands on people to heal them of that? Where was these people, right? That when you had, like you would watch other videos, they praying over pools and sprinkling stuff in the pool. Where was these people when that was going on? You know who was fighting that? You know who was fighting that front line? Doctors like Kent Bazard. I have buddies and friends, right? And their parents lost their lives. I have people close to me that lost their life in Nassau due to COVID-19. So my whole thing is, in all seriousness, I all know I'll clown around, right? But in all seriousness, where were these people at on the front line that's claiming they so anointed, laying their hands on people and delivering them from COVID-19? Where were they at?
I do recall there were some pastors who went out in the defiant stance against and put up their faith in God against the I guess the danger of facing COVID. And there were some that lost their lives. Like they say, they still wanted to hug, they still wanted to embrace people, they still want a handshake. And a lot of people lost their lives actually from going to church, which is
Yes.
when they had to shut down the church and only, they had traced a lot of these deaths to people congregating at church. So you are absolutely right. But like I'm saying, to answer your question, a lot of these people that profess to be so close to God that they can heal you was hiding behind a mask, was
But
washing their hands for two,
not
three,
only
four
that,
minutes
right? I'll
every
go
time.
deeper than that. I'll go deeper than that on you. These same people, when their family members get sick, they take their family members to Kent Bazaar, to the doctor. Why don't you lay your hands on your family members and heal them? Why? Listen, it's the whole, it's this whole healing pool situation. When you walk through it, you come out the other side, you're good. Why do they start building healing pools in the hospitals?
Let me speak about, first of all, and I appreciate the reference, Brother One. Uh, my first year in medical school was kind of spiritually tough for me
Yeah.
because you could easily lose your faith in medical school. It's real easy,
Mm,
right?
mm,
When you start to read about, when you start to really read and learn about how the body works, and I went deeper into science than I've ever been before, especially as far as the human body is concerned, right? Having to apply things that I've learned previously. Like it's easy to say, "Oh, okay, well that's how that worked." Oh, okay, that's why that person died. So you start to explain things. You can explain things or not explain things, right? Um, so it challenged my faith a lot.
Mhm.
But what I learned, just to keep the long story short, what I learned over a few years of my own study and my own experience, and this is even the experience of losing my own mother,
Yes.
who was a devout woman of God. If anybody was a woman of God, it was my mom. You understand what I'm
Agreed.
saying?
Agreed.
And she's literally saved a lot of young men from living some horrible lives, and really influenced a lot of people,
yeah,
kids from kids age. She's
she
done
did.
the Lord's work for her entire life. And me, even with all my with not me, because what she had was not my specialty. My mom had cancer. We couldn't save her.
Yeah,
My Aunt Audrey, same thing. Couldn't save her.
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Same thing. Cancer. Both of them worked real hard with kids. Went to church every single Sunday. Dragged me to church. Taught me to pray. Pray for me when I'm sick and all that stuff. When it
Yep.
came to her turn,
It's your turn.
she couldn't be. Nobody could put holy hands on her and heal her. That
yeah,
didn't work. But that didn't destroy my faith. Per se, I was mad at God for a long time for that.
yeah,
And I was also mad at myself because I was like, yo, seriously, man, how could you allow that to happen? Like, I know I'm not special, and
yeah.
she isn't. Maybe she isn't special. I don't know, but for the work she did, like, why you couldn't, like,
Special.
this one time you couldn't just fix it. You couldn't just fix it.
Yeah,
How
I
do you,
yeah,
think
how
I
do
think I think, I think even me and you had a conversation on that during the time.
we have this conversation?
Yeah.
But what I remembered, I remember what I learned previously, and that's number one. Number one, uh, God is not a magician. God is a scientist, and a lot of people don't like that, right?
mm,
But if you can comprehend the magnitude of intelligence that it would take to create a universe like this, we like fleas, bro.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So as great as we think we are, if you're gonna truly believe in a creator and a creation, then you must believe that that being is far beyond where we are right now. The problem is a lot of people don't think that's true. A lot of people think that God is like a character in a video game that they could just pick up a remote control and make him do what they want. And it don't work like that. And this is what very few religious leaders will say. It doesn't work like that. And you just have to live with it. That's just the way it is. If he decides to save your people, your whatever situation, whatever he decides to do is, we as Christians supposed to say, thy will be done. That's what the prayer says, right? It
Yeah.
says, your will be done. If that will means that I'm supposed to die, my mom's supposed to die, or my child's supposed to die, guess what? That's his will.
That's his will.
It's hard to say. It ain't easy. You know, body say it easy, and even the Bible don't say. As a matter of fact, the Bible say this ain't easy at all. That's what it says, right? But we like to paint. You see, those things are not marketable. One, those things are marketable.
So, you know what? While I get talking, I just viewing some stuff here on this topic.
No, you see,
hold on, don't worry. I was waiting for you to finish.
You can't make money. You don't make a lot of money off of messages like that. That's why a lot of people used to leave our church. Our church had a small congregation because we never had a mega congregation, because people don't want to hear things like that. People want to hear, this is your year of fulfillment. This is you're going to step into an era of whatever. You're going to be blessed in showers of blessing. That's all they want to hear. They don't want to hear nothing about, you have to work. You're going to suffer. You have to suffer for me. They don't hear none of that. You have to bear your cross. They don't hear none of that stuff. They want to hear, we're going to feel good. They want a concert. They want a motivational speech. They want some theatrics, like Dyson said, some performance. And they want to leave wherever they left feeling good. People used to leave our church. People used to leave our church feeling mad. People used to leave our church mad. Because I come up under the era of Reverend Sanders, and Reverend Sanders didn't care if you say amen or not. He did not care. So he would say, listen, you all need to stop doing X, Y, and Z. And he would be specific sometimes. I mean, specific now. And people would literally be very angry. So what I'm saying is, we've moved from that era of in church and stuff. We've kind of moved from that, and now we're in the era of marketing and social media and selling things and holy pillows.
Give me a second though. Give me a second, though, Ken. Just a point, because I want to get into the business end of church, because church is a business. A lot of people don't like to look at it that way, but us pastors' children understand that church is a business. I've been exposed
to
business. So
tax free.
there you go. But here, understand this now. And it's just this question. You as a doctor, you said that you struggle with faith as you got more in depth with science. Do you feel something you said? It kind of brought this on. But do you feel, this is just your belief, because none of us have a degree in theology. So that's my disclaimer. We do not have a degree in theology. We do not lead any church or any fellowship or any ministries. What we're talking here is our opinions and our understandings of what's happening, or our lack of understanding of what's happening.
Listen, you're wrong. I possess the most highest degree in common sense.
Yes. This is kind of just common sense degree we're talking from here, right? But do you feel like a lot of pastors and church leaders and congregation leaders or people that have a leadership that stem from religion, right? Based in religion, do you feel as though they have an understanding of how God is relative to science?
Very, very few. Very few. I've encountered a few. And I've had some debates with there was a guy who actually came here, white guy, by the way, who came here, and he had written a book called The Science of God or something like that. And he was really interesting about the stuff he was talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah, very, very few. And I don't think it's not always because of they don't want to. A lot of times it's because of just if your path in life didn't take you through science, then you're not going to think about it. You know what I mean? I didn't go through art and that stuff, so I don't think about art, and you know what I mean. I don't know. I don't have much of an opinion on it, so I can't relate it to what I'm doing daily. But one point I wanted to just finish with what I was saying about medical school, how I got over my challenge. And you know how I got over my challenge? It wasn't the Bible, you know. It was a book called Medical Physiology by Dr. Robert Guyton. And that's where I found proof that God exists in that book.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
found,
What was
and
the what was
it was the chapter talking about how energy is produced and how the heart really creates its own stimulus and starts beating on its own.
uh-huh.
You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the structure of various, just physics in general, but if you look at
Yeah.
molecular biology, you'll notice
Mm-hmm.
there's a theme that's common throughout the entire universe. It repeats over and over and over and over.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The theme of a cell, cell components to cell to tissue to organ to system to organism, that to society to group
Right.
to planet,
Right.
and then it repeats.
Right.
Then it repeats over and over again. The same
Mm-hmm.
thing repeats over and over again. That to me, that's design. That's intelligent design. That is not random.
Do,
You know.
I ask my question I look at it this way. In if we were intelligent enough as a society to understand that there's a relationship between God and science, and this walks me into the business of church. But I would have expected that there would be a lot of pastors adamant about making donations to the healthcare system or making donations to clinics or encouraging and some churches do this, encouraging their church members not just to go and get their annual checkups, but to provide some type of insurances, some type of support, some
Wouldn't
type
that
of
cut?
help.
But wouldn't that cut? But if they were to do that, right? Wouldn't that cut into their profit?
Let's walk in. You want to discuss? Absolutely. Do you want to walk into the things that you were reading that you got kind of
No,
excited
go
a
ahead.
minute
Go
ago?
ahead, finish your pen. We got no, no, no. Go ahead.
No, because I about to
I'm
move
soaking it
into the
all in.
business of church. I about to move into the business of church.
Go ahead,
So I
bro.
could go. All right, cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah, go
church is
ahead.
a business. Church is a business, regardless of how you cut it. You need a building that costs money. You have to
Yeah.
maintain that building. That costs money. You need places for the people to sit. You got to make the people comfortable. And
Mhm.
like you said, people want to feel good when they're in church. They don't want to be sweating. They don't want the musicians to be awful, right? And in order to attract some musicians these days, you have to pay them because they ain't just playing for free no more. Because that's a business. They have to make their money. Gospel singers, they got to get paid. You can't pay them and say, "Oh, the Lord could bless you." No, they earn that, right? And the same with pastors. It takes time. A pastor's pastoral responsibilities goes with a lot of behind the scenes work, preparing sermons, doing all sorts of things,
Outreach
right?
ministry. Yeah.
And there's only one biblical, I wouldn't say, there's one hard, fast, and biblical method of making money, and that's through tithing, right? That's the commandment to pay 10%, and it's not even necessarily monetary. It's just giving into the church 10% of how God has blessed you. Period. It didn't say money. It could be time. It could be like if a doctor is a member of a church, and if that doctor gives 10% of his time treating patients, that's tithe, right? But they don't preach that either because you can't spend that type of time, right? Well, you don't say that. Maybe that's the reason why they don't preach that. Offering your time is also tithing, and then they talk about offering. Now, offering is where the church really. That's like selling popcorn at the movies. That's where you make the big money. You charge $4 for the popcorn when it only costs you 20 cents, right? So you make mad profit off of offering because then you play on people's emotions. And this is all the business of church. Because if you can expand your church, if you can make your church more attractive, you can bring in more people. And if you're being led by a pure of heart person, that's a good thing. Because when you bring in more people and you collect more tithe and you collect more offering, you can do more for the community. You could do more outreach. You can take care of more what do they call them, orphan children. You can send kids to school, to college. You can do these type things if you have money in the church. If you don't, then it's not much outreach you can do. Now, here's the trick. Here's the trick, and that's they say prophetess or prophetess. If you're following a leader, in my opinion again, if you're following a leader that making buku cash, right? And they have an outreach program. I'll give you a good example of one of these people. A lot of people like to laugh at the singing prophet,
Bishop.
Bishop, right? They like to laugh at him. But that dude is do more in the community than a lot of pastors. A lot. And he understands. He's a perfect example. Like I brought him up and thought about him. He's a perfect example of the theater that has to go behind church in order to attract investment. That dude ain't no dummy. He don't be
Mind you,
dancing because he he
mind you,
does that
mind
on
you.
purpose.
Uh, I'm not gonna pretend like I don't laugh at him. I just have a good laugh off of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yes, we all
My
do, and
Grammy,
he knows it.
my Grammy. Every time remember he used to have this video when he was singing on the bridge. He
Yep.
used to have this video on the dock or something, or on the bridge. Man, every time this video come on, and that's by my Grammy, and my Grammy said, "Look at this old fool jumping up and down like he ain't got no sense."
Hmm.
So my Grammy thought he was just an idiot. And he thought everybody who fall, they said, "Look all these people falling behind him, man. Look all these poor people." But I mean, you're
Hmm.
right about theatrics. But the thing is, he put in work. I don't always believe everything he say in some of his videos now. But
Don't. Please don't.
no, I don't believe all the claims, some of the claims he's made. However, he's doing community service. I'm
Oh,
talking to you, buddy.
absolutely.
Let
Good job.
me
Absolutely.
let me bring up a very important point. Why is it, right? And I'm not saying this doesn't happen in other churches, but why is it more prevalent and more common for this type of stuff to happen in predominantly black churches?
Easy,
Go ahead. I
easy.
know that. I just want to hear you say it.
We a couple of things. So number one, we've started, and when I say we, I mean the black persons that do this to each other.
Yeah.
We prey on each other's either weakness or position. When you
Hmm.
when you find, do you ever notice richer, more affluent people just go to a different type of church? You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that ain't always. And let me even just be blunt and say, most white people go to a different type of church,
Hmm.
right? At least in the Bahamas, at least. And where you find in third world
Cancel.
countries,
Cancel.
where you find in third world countries, they will play on your level of education. They will play on your despair, right? And
Hmm.
whatever struggles you're going through, because who's struggling more than the poor people? The poor class people are the people who're struggling.
Hmm.
So you can't
Hmm.
go to church. You can't go to a church with a bunch of rich people and say, you know, God's going to get you out of that financial issue. What financial issue? What are you talking about? Like they don't have that issue.
You don't have those
So
problems.
right. So then
Ah, go ahead.
there's
Yeah.
not for them, it's not, they're not going to give you offering for that because I'm like, I don't have a financial
Yeah.
issue with
Yeah.
here.
I don't know. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So go
So
ahead.
they play on that. They play on that, and that's the reason why. Now, originally, I'll close this right now. Originally, it was used, as we know, this stuff is used to keep slaves in check.
Mm.
And I don't know if that's part of the point we were going to make. But originally, that's how this information was used. But it's not just the information, the system of worship itself. And as long as you keep people, uh,
Dumb.
well, if you give them a place to release their stress and jump up and down and keep believing that it's going to get better instead of actually doing something. Because that's what you're supposed to do after all that praise and worship and stuff. You're supposed to go and do something, right? We forget about that part in the sermon. You praise and you worship and you lift up holy hands and you do all that stuff and you fall on the ground. Then you're supposed to get up, even if a prophet prophesy over you, especially as a matter of fact, if a prophet prophesy over you, then you're supposed to go and do something.
Yeah. Drink the water you just bought.
Right? You're supposed to go buy the holy water. You're supposed to go and do something. If they say you're going to be a great whatever, okay, you don't just sit down and do this and wait to win the lottery. What do you think is going to happen? It don't work like that.
No. You still remember your point one?
Sorry.
Yeah,
you use to jump in a second?
Hey, y'all been going for 2 hours. I don't forget point two. Ask him.
I apologize already. I told you this is going to be a little rough for me. I apologize.
But I appreciate the insight that you came with out the gate. I think one, if you were to think about what was most pressing on your spirit when we were scheduling to talk about this conversation, what would talk about this topic, what would that be?
Most pressing on the most pressing on my spirit coming into this whole topic is watching the gullible people get taken advantage of over and over and over. And not only that, given their very last.
Let's dig into that.
Okay. Given their very last to facilitate someone else's lifestyle when you don't even have it. Like what part of the game is that?
That's my last. I just drank.
Yeah, what part of the game is that? So you mean to tell me, right? God, the Almighty God, the true and living God, doesn't know if I have the ability to give what I can give. He doesn't appreciate that. Being a forgiving God and an understanding God, right? That's what we were all taught, correct? So
yeah,
if I'm going to a particular church and they're listen, there's a church over here, right? Jamaican church, right? They split this church is split in half. Okay, inside the same church is split in half. Now, when it's time for them to give offering, right? They have a competition to see which half can give more money than the other half. But see, what idiots don't understand, right? The common sense is it don't matter who give more because the church still getting the money for bragging rights, so to speak. Wow. It's like little stupid things like that, right? That what common sense don't kick in. Listen, one part of the church is called faith, the other part of the church is called hope. And they same congregation now, not a different preacher, same congregation, same pastor, same everything. But they have all types of competition to see who could outdo who. And you know who's winning? Let me tell you who's winning, bro. And I know, and I've seen this. The pastor that's driving a Rolls Royce, that's who's winning. Straight up and down.
Yeah, like I said, I've been exposed to the business side of it, and I am a pastor's child. My grandfather started Gospel Fellowship Church. He's a good dude. I mean, as far as humans are expected to be good, he is a good man, and that's one of the points I wanted to raise before our time then being up. But we are looking at human beings. We are faulty creatures. Yes, so sir. To think that anyone can approach you as if they are holier than thou, right off the bat, you say, my boy, you ain't in Christ. Or home girl, you ain't in Christ. Because that's as perfect as it's going to get. And we all know we ain't about to go through what Christ go through. You see what I'm saying? So, boy.
Listen, we can talk about this.
I just trying to keep it on topic. The question is prophetess or prophetess, and I'd like to start winding this, wrapping this up with asking: is salvation still free? Is your connection to God and His ability to work in your life still free, or does it cost $88.88 or $88.88 or 888 or 8,808 because I remember one prophetess said that you give this amount of money and depending on how you give is how the Lord is going to work it in your life. That is the biggest flipping lie I ever heard in my life. How you
Like,
give the hem
not
of the
only
garment is what the woman touched. She gave what she had and she was blessed. She was made whole when she was working with Jesus, and that's why Jesus died. So we didn't have to deal with all of this nonsense, all this sacrifice.
you know, it's so funny, bro. It's like to even piggyback off of what you just say, right? So you mean to tell me if I buy this $288 altar that's made out of some cheap ass material, and I kneel down on that with the pillow now, because I can't just I need the pillow to go along with it, okay? And only that, I need some water to go along. So basically, looking at it like a $500 minimum. You mean to tell me by getting those things, and my life ain't really straight with God 100? My spirit ain't really straight. These things are going to make it happen.
Well, I always had a question. My question was always, is there a money back guarantee?
Bro, what
I
dimension you
want
from?
that from doctors. I want that from doctors. Not to be on the topic. I would also like that money back guarantee from doctors. Not to be said. I want it from the prophetess and I want it from the
You
doctors.
don't pay, well, maybe I'm answering my question. You don't pay doctors for healing. That's not how it works. You don't pay doctors.
Right.
Now you pay this person, you pay these people for healing. You don't pay us for healing. You pay us for treatment. You don't pay us for
Okay.
healing.
Right.
So I don't.
Right.
So we will come up and say. I mean, we have to. We have to say, listen. I recommend this course of treatment. It has a so
Hmm.
much percentage chance of working. It maybe has a risk involved with it, and you might have to come and see me multiple times. And I have to say that. But these guys say,
Yeah.
look, give me money, you can be healed, and whether you heal or not, they still can go on saying that to other people, and
Yeah.
nobody's
Because
gonna,
they turn around and say you didn't pray hard enough
right.
or you didn't pay enough.
Nobody's gonna say anything publicly about these people doing this, like especially like we doing right now. But the
Hmm.
Yeah,
minute a patient of a physician dies, the minute someone go to PMH and die, it's a problem. It's always the
Yeah.
hospital's always,
Oh
always,
yeah.
always, always the hospital's fault.
Hmm.
Always.
I just
There's
uploaded that show by the way.
no one else to blame. It don't matter if you were driving drunk. It don't matter if you've been smoking for years. It don't matter if you ain't taking medication. None of that matters. If you go to the hospital and you die, it's a hospital fault.
Yeah.
Period.
Let me just jump in there and say anyone that's watching, if you want to watch our show on how or can we improve the healthcare system, that's the episode that I just uploaded. I believe it was episode 19. Just uploaded it today. Go and check that out. It's
good
very
stuff.
enlightening.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I saw that. Yeah, yeah. And watch that again. That was an interesting show. Well, uh, I'll lead off with the closing out, James.
Yes, I will say
I
that.
like I said, this was trouble. To be quite honest with you guys, and I'm going to say this publicly, I almost thought about not coming on the show because I thought I might say something way out there, but I managed not to. At least I don't think so. But the point is, one of the most difficult things for me to deal with as a physician is is mortality. And and I remember one of my lecturers telling me that, my first real patient as a medical student, as a clinical medical student in the fourth year, my first patient, I was close to the family. I was talking to the wife and the children. I was there on a Saturday night when he got sick and he died. And when my boss came in, she's like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Well, I was just here with the family or whatever." And then after everybody left, she called me and she said, "Don't you ever do this again?" And I was like, "Why?" She said, "You can't do this for every patient. You think you could get in tight with the family and do all this mourning and everything every single time somebody's died?" She said, "You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it if you do this every time. Yes, you have to empathize, sometimes sympathize, but you cannot connect like that. You have to be able to have a wall, some type of wall. You got to
Yeah.
protect yourself. or you ain't gonna make
Yeah.
it. You go crazy. You're gonna go home and kill all your kids. Like you're gonna do something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And that sounded cold to me at first until I got more experience and I realized she's absolutely right because we're not held to the same standards that um, prophet or prophetess is held to. We're not held to that same standard. So it is my belief that salvation is in fact still free. It always was free, and it always will be free.
Hmm.
Um, I think if you buy that altar one and you truly pray on that altar, I don't think that God is gonna not do whatever it is He planned to do just because you bought the altar.
Exactly.
Hopefully, I hope not. I hope not because it really sucks. But I hope
Hopefully.
not. I hope He forgive my stupidity. But you know who's not? You know who's gonna be in real trouble? The person who fooling all these people.
Yeah.
Because Bible is very clear about what's gonna happen to you. It's
Yeah.
very clear. So don't get mad at me for saying whatever. Don't get mad at JP for saying whatever. Don't get
Well,
mad
you
at
get
Michael.
mad at me. That's okay.
Well, fine. Get mad if you're gonna get mad. You're right. Get mad if you're gonna get mad. But the point
Get
is,
mad.
it ain't me. It ain't me you got to deal with. It ain't me.
I
That's
didn't
me.
make the rules. I didn't upload nothing for sale.
I didn't write the
Nothing.
book. All right. That's all I got to say about that.
What you got to say, JP? Or you want to wrap this one up? You want me to go
Yeah,
first?
I will wrap this one up, sir.
All right. Well, it's pretty simple for me. Listen, I think some people need that encouragement. Some people need to feel good. Some people need to be guided. You know, some not everyone is a leader. Some people just need to follow, and some people need and they need to. And it really and truly doesn't matter to the person per se if they're following somebody false or genuine. It matters what the person does with their life afterwards. I know there are some religions that kind of they say, oh, because of my religion, we don't want any blood transfusions, or because of our religion, we don't believe in divorce, or because of our religion, we don't do these type things. There are some extreme things, and there's sometimes you end up um listening to that religion and dying. You die for your religion, you die for your cause. You lived a good life, you felt good living it. Great, great. Different strokes for different folks. So I'm not saying to anyone, do not believe what you believe, because it is through your belief, through your faith, you will be made whole. It ain't because that person capable of doing nothing for you. It's because you believe, and that's what's important, and that's what I have to say.
All right. So we got to look at it like this sometime too. Mainly black people from birth. Certain things we were raised to do. And one of the greatest things we were raised to do is not question anything that has to do with God as black people. Because we were taught that if you question anything, you will get struck down from lightning immediately. And the thing about it is, most people that grow into older age, they still hold that analogy near to their heart. Okay. But like I always say on this show, as an adult, you owe it to yourself to do your own personal research. Okay. If something don't seem right, it probably ain't. It probably ain't. When you get the little voice inside saying, hey, you know what? I don't know. Listen to the voice, man. If you're going to see a stack of people getting taken advantage of over and over and over and over, and then they walk themselves out of that situation and then repeat the whole cycle over again. Listen, I don't blame the pastors at that point. Go get your money. Because now you're dealing with people who's just ignorant and don't know better. I'm not trying to call anybody ignorant now. You sensitive ass people in the comment section, pull them drawers up. I didn't call anybody ignorant. I'm trying to say your actions is ignorant. You understand? So Don't ever look to someone that's worldly, mortal, and treat them like God. Because a lot of times that's exactly what be happening in these type of situations. They all have that in common. They all, whether it be a male preacher or a female prophetess or whatever you want to call it, they all have something in common. Their members treat them like God Himself. And they will beat Kent Bazara, they will beat JP Knowlton, they will beat Dyson Knight up if they have a chance and you dare speak anything on their almighty prophetess or prophet. When it comes down to stuff like that, you got to ask yourself, is this a church or is this a cult? And I'm going to leave it like that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is episode 39 of the Sup'm Show, Prophetess or Profit-ist. We just giving a show like we always do, speaking our opinions. This is where we talk it out, so we can figure it out, and hopefully we as a world collectively work it out. We see you next week, and we promise ourselves we're going to give the next topic. Maybe
Next
we did,
topic.
and I forget.
Topic for next week is Father's Day, Man's Day in church. The topic next week is Men Get Your Blank Together.
I got it.
We're going to fill in the blanks.
I just bought my water.
We're going to fill in the blanks. Men Get Your Blank Together.
Hold on now. Hold on.
See you guys next week.
Peace.
Y'all take care of yourselves.